Some of you will never be ready. You know, when I went to naturopathic college, I'm going to tell you something. There was a lot of people in there that were more studious than me, like almost everyone. You know? Because my place was the place that had the parties every weekend, right? So you can't party and then pass. You can't do that, but you can. It's all about balance. The reality is this, there was a study group, and you know, there's always a study group. Can you see me joining a study group? Yeah. So the reality is you got to find your own groove. You know what I mean? Practice makes perfect. Repetition. How do you learn? What's the quickest way that you learn to take in information? Information will always empower you, but what kind of information is it? What kind of powerful person do you want to become? You better think about that. Everybody wants to be powerful, yes or no? You do. But what type of powerful person? The love of power? Or the power of love and finding your passion, your purpose? My son, Jera, he wanted to be a professional dancer. And so I supported that the whole time. And their mother wanted him to dance, but only to dance when he was younger, not dance when he's older, because you'll starve. But it's not true. I told him, you won't starve unless you think you're going to be a starving dancer. I said, you just put your heart into it and be 10% better than everybody else. And that is healthy. That's all you got to do. It's all you got to do. So now he's 34 and he's one of the top choreographers in Canada. One of the top dancers in Canada, especially choreographers. And he makes a lot of money and he spends it. He's not a poor dancer. Everything in life, they will tell a story and try to get you to believe it. If you love what you do and you're willing to listen how to market yourself a little bit, a lot of creators and people with creative minds don't know how to market themselves, do they? I learned how to market myself out of survival. I wasn't jealous. I would look at what others were doing and say, I can have that. I got to figure out how. You know? You always want to have a guide, a coach, and you want to make sure it's not me. You want to move on. You want to take what you can take and learn what you can learn from me, and then learn from other places. You want to bring in all your assets from everything you ever did. Why'd I do that? Well, you did that because it was to get to here. Don't ever have any regrets about what schooling you took. There is no government-approved schools that are ever going to tell you the truth and be clear. But you can go in there like a buffet and keep what you've learned from everything so that you can find that gift that you have, because everybody has a gift in here. Do you want to do the non-surgical and you love doing the body work? Then what areas of the body do you really like working on? I really like doing emotional consultations. Well, you better make sure that you're emotionally balanced, because 99.9% of all practitioners are not emotionally balanced. That's why they become practitioners. But you don't realize you're not emotionally balanced until you start working on it. You realize that the whole world's not emotionally balanced, is it? But you're definitely emotionally balanced when you're in the herd, because that's as good as it gets. That's as good, that's as much money as the herd makes. That's as much freedom as they have. That's as much happiness as they're going to have. You have to break away. You have to break away. You got to find your authentic self. All of you can have it all. And I don't mean it like this. I want it all. You can have it all. But not until you're all. Just keep faking it. Keep faking it. They keep lying to you about what you truly are. Why is it that you will believe them before you'll believe your heart or believe me? Why is it that people will accept getting a prescription drug that is toxic and doesn't work, but they think it does, and then they'll take something like a nutraceutical and complain about spending the money? It's all programming. To think that people are going to embrace natural health when there's a fast food on every block, 2 of them actually. There's a donut shop on every second block. There's a pizza place everywhere. When you look at food, sometimes you go, my gosh, how can they afford this? Well, because the dairy board pays off the government and the meat board, and it goes on, and the sugar industry. You know, I used to say this, there wouldn't be, when I was not thinking properly, I said there wouldn't be so many fast food places and corner stores if we weren't so numbed out and dumbed down. Somebody's going into them. And then I had a wake up. I forgot. Money doesn't exist. It exists for you, because the Federal Reserve is not owned by the people, it's owned by the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, and they're the ones that make the money. They used to make it out of trees, now they do it out of petroleum, so now they make more money. But none of this is real. The Federal Reserve is privately owned. Every country, the banking system's privately owned. But you think it's you. Oh, I'm just so happy about, what are you happy about? The reality is that money is the illusion. So you're gonna have to believe that you're worth it, because it can override everything that they're trying to do to us. How creative are you? How open-minded are you? Are you willing to change? Are you willing to be different? You know what? You say you want different, and then guess what? You cannot allow your subconscious, and this is what this whole thing is about here right now, whether you're going to be financially successful. There's a lot of therapists that are fantastic. There's therapists out there that know more than me, and guess what? But they're struggling. If you don't have confidence, it's going to be a bump. So fake it. But learn your stuff. Have earplugs in. Listen to everything. How do you think I learned? I lived it. I breathed it. If I was home, I'd have one earbud in here. It wouldn't be a Bluetooth. Just know that. But I would have one in and one not. And whether I was walking down the street or doing anything, how many here want to be the best they want to be? And if you want to be the best at this, then you should have it in here. Certainly you want to listen to the birds, you want to listen to the ocean, but when you're just walking around, have it on your phone and just keep replaying things like, you know, the holy crap, the holy grail, the large intestine, the digestive tract. Just keep replaying things. That's how everybody else learned, repetition. School yourself. When we go to school, we can be there the whole day and only get one gold nugget. Start focusing on what you want to learn, where you want to specialize with this. So, you know, if you're not a big person, you're not going to get big people coming in. If you're a woman, you're going to think about maybe just doing breast, pelvis, abdomen, neck, smaller things, easier things, right? My gosh, there's so much you could do. You could just pick 2 or 3 things, you'd be busy forever. Make sure that you come on the meetings every week. You know, most of my staff say do not give it for free, the training, to the master training for free. The reality is most people won't show up because they're not worth learning. Try to book it in and make sure you come on there. That's part of your training. To learn everything on how to create this really great business. That's the reason why health businesses fail. That's why a lot of health businesses are like Inky Dinky Schnitzel House, right? You know, I dibble dabble. There's a lot of hobby health experts out there, isn't there? Because there's not a support group for people. They go and take a course and it's thanks for your money, you're gone. We're not going to do that to you. But if you don't show up on the meetings, confidence is created by repetition. Do you get that? Lack of confidence is created by repetition. Do you get that? So repetition is the key here, whether you want happiness, health, or wealth. You just have to repeat it. You spend all day long repeating yourself every day. Do you know that? So why don't you pick some things that you're not going to repeat anymore? I don't think I need to repeat that. It's not good for me. It takes too long. It's not paying off. No, I'm not going to do that habit anymore. No, I'm going to change my routine. I'm going to hack my whole day. Figure out how I can become more efficient. If it excites me and scares me a little, I'm just going to do it. And I'm going to practice that. Repetition, repetition, repetition. I told my kids all you got to do is 10% more than the rest. It's not a lot more. And guess what? You always have more to give, don't you? But you don't have more to give if you're not confident. So guess what? Override that. You can't do it unless you do self-talk. And guess what? You're always talking to yourself. Your brain never shuts down. Your brain never sleeps. It's talking all night long while you're sleeping. It's talking all day. Those people who talk to themselves are insane. Well, I am at the top of the list. And I decide how I talk to myself. Does anybody notice I'm always correcting the way you talk? Andrea? You're a master at saying something that sounds positive that has a negative whip on the back of it. What you have to do is sit down with yourself and observe why you talk like that. If you're not going to become an emotional, nutritional detective, trying to search out and find out your addictions on an emotional and physical level. I've got addictions, but let's just hope that I'm addicted to things that make me happy. Oh, you're addicted to that? Absolutely. Is that okay with you? Look at the addictions that you have that you think are making you happy. I'll tell you something. When I moved from Newfoundland to Nova Scotia, that's when I was younger, our family was really blown up, like crazy. You know, my mother said she married this guy that she never married, and then she changed my name, and She never changed my name legally, so I became Daryl Antonio Tannardini. Like, my life was just so crazy. You wonder why I'm crazy today. But the reality is that I was so depressed about my family. I was around 17, 18. And like everybody else says, very athletic, but very lonely. So there was a group of people on my street, and they smoked and toked all the time. And I refused it, I don't know how many times. I'm not going to make up a number, it's that long ago. But I realized that if I wasn't going to smoke and toke, I wasn't going to be happy. So I decided to smoke, didn't toke right away, but I smoked, and then when I smoked the first cigarette, I can remember it burnt my throat. And then my brain said, oh my God, you're going to get cancer. You're going to cough. So of course I had a sore throat, and I coughed because I said I was going to. But the reality is that my brain believed that smoking gives you cancer. How stupid is that? And that I would actually have a sore throat. How stupid is that? But the reality is that within about 3 to 5 weeks of coming and having a few puffs, half a cigarette, a whole cigarette, after 3 to 5 weeks, holy crap, I'd smoke a cigarette and I'd be just happy. I wouldn't have a sore throat. I wouldn't have a headache or feel dizzy. So now my subconscious is going, oh my God, we were wrong. Smoking, look how it's changed him. He's happy. He's not depressed anymore. So now smoking is the happiness. See, the subconscious is not smart. So that's why the only way you're going to be successful in an emotional life, and a physical life, and a financial life, a nutritional life, is if you're present. Because if you're present, you could repeat something different. Right? And stop talking down on yourself. Unless you said something that, basically said that, basically you're a genius, you're brilliant. Shut your mouth. Isn't it kind of funny how we're all addicted to confirming to everyone that we're victims, we're broken, and it's like, I'm going to put myself down so nobody kick me. Okay, I'm just going to get it out of the way today so nobody kicks me. Then I'll be all done with that. So repetition is the key. Repetition to speak out loud when you talk down on yourself. And if you do that, just know that you do that to your family and your friends. You can't do it to yourself without not doing it to them. You are your personality. You do whatever you do to yourself, you do to them. You can't give what you're not. You only give what you are. Oh, I'm a failure. I'll never be good at this. You're right. You are a failure, and you'll never be good at it. So when you say something like that, you're going to go, absolutely wrong. 3, 2, 1, I got this. I am successful. That changes now. Not I'm in the process. Did you notice that this week? There was a lot of I'm in the process, and at the rate that people are moving, they need to live till they're like 300 or 500, but time's running out. Don't you notice that the older you get, the more you need to wake up because you're not allotted as much as you were when you were younger? You can go and drink and toke and smoke, and guess what? Feel like crap even an hour for the morning, and then you're on your way again, ready to do the same thing. But as the older you get, the more you have to wake up. So the bottom line is, when are you going to be nice? When are you going to be nice to yourself? Because as soon as you do that, it's going to be great. And just voice things out loud. Whether you're with someone or not. I'm walking down the street, I said something quietly in my mind, and I downed myself. Right away I should say out loud, new sheriff in town, I got this, that was a lie. Subconscious, back off. We're coming in and we're going to reconstruct. We're going to deconstruct or reconstruct. You got to deconstruct to reconstruct your brain. And guess what? Do you know what non-surgical is? You're deconstructing, so that the body can reconstruct the way it needs to be, because you're going in there and deconstructing and pulling the fibers apart to allow the circulation back, and then the body reconstructs. And it brings it back to the way it used to be. Massive personal action. With unconditional love. Bring it up through your heart. When you go home, if you decide to share, you go in and you tell that person, just know I love you. My love will never change, but I have changed. So when you think I'm pulling away from you or I'm becoming something different, I am, but I'm not pulling away. Can you just be nice to yourself today? What would you do for the rest of your life if you fell in love with you? Thanks for joining me.